So I wanted to add on to Paul's recent video on political ideology, since this topic is of growing importance. That said, this video is directed at the people who have concerns over partisanship in the men's human rights movement. Now, Paul has demonstrated something frightening. To some, the MHRM is a territory to fight over. It's not. It is a social movement that concerns itself with the issues of men and boys, as they pertain to human rights. If you add any more to that definition, okay, but you risk dividing up the movement if you are not tolerant of the people who don't agree with you. We are all united in the compassion for men and boys, and we will always be committed to doing what works. And what some people seem to have trouble with is the fact that what works might not be the thing they want to do, or what their political party wants to do, or what their community wants to do, or whatever. Applying a solution, say, Democrats would like, does not imply endorsement of the entire Democrat platform. Let me give you an analogy. You're driving by a homeless guy, and Alice, who's sitting in your back seat, tells you to give him some change. Bob, who's sitting next to Alice, says you should not give the hobo change at all. If you decide to give the homeless man change, does that necessarily mean you like Alice more than Bob? Does it mean you endorse Alice's way of thinking so much that Bob doesn't matter? What if it's just the incident you were in and not the overall way that you think? The woolly bumblebee made the mistake of assuming that a libertarian tone under a Voice for Men's logo implied that a Voice for Men is libertarian to the exclusion of other platforms. This line of thinking is confusing isolated occurrences with habits. A Voice for Men concerns itself with its mission statement and nothing else. But to accuse them of stepping into partisan dogma on account of discrete incidences is to say that a waiter is a klutz because he dropped a plate of food one time. Look at habits. A Voice for Men has a habit of gathering data, yelling at morons, and giving a wide variety of people a chance to speak, banning those who are a liability to the organization in some way. While I appreciate the efforts of people who want to think in the big picture, if you're going to sit and complain about the MHRM not going in the direction you like, to be frank, you aren't helping. There's specific problems, small and large, that need to be solved, and I would imagine a Voice for Men is interested in the best possible solutions. Same for all of you. I think all of you watching this video, regardless of your political leanings, are intelligent and caring enough to wish the best for people and to fight for the ideals that you think will result in a better world. But you have to have the humility to understand that the problems of the world might have solutions you don't like. A Voice for Men does not subscribe to existing partisan platforms, but it may implement or endorse solutions to problems that one or more of these platforms might agree with. Can you live with that? If not, you will simply be unable to identify with a Voice for Men. I don't care if you're a right-wing tinfoil hat-wearing nutcase, a left-wing bag of dreadlocks, smoking pot in between sandwiches full of Cheetos, a Stalinist dictator wannabe with a meatball fetish, or a John Galt love child masturbating to a picture of Ayn Rand's waddle. What I do care about is if you are able to help men and boys and have the maturity to allow people you don't like to do the same thing their own way, or to recommend a course of action that makes sense in reality. It takes a lot of maturity for someone like a libertarian to look at a communitarian and say, I think you're full of shit, but in this particular instance, I think you got it right. But just in my personal experience, I recently had to deal with people trying to make the MHRM a left-right issue by accusing the left of being the enemy because feminism is in bed with it. And my response is, yes, feminism is in bed with left-wing politics. But there are left-wing people in the MHRM, and they're kicking ass because they're helping. Can you deal with that? They are problems affecting men and boys, and they do not have an infinite number of solutions. As humans, we put very strict constraints on each other in trying to solve problems, especially of a political nature. So ask yourself, are you helping make the world a better place by othering your neighbor due to their partisanship? Is your anger directed at solving problems or making more? Do not forget that the MHRM has a history of instability, and that by bitching and moaning about partisanship, you will take a strong, cohesive unit and you divide it into weaker units that will not cooperate with one another. Is that a movement? We'll be here to welcome you with open arms when you are ready to take your chip off your shoulder and save your suggestions when they actually give us a real solution to test for an immediate problem. And just so you all are updated, A Voice for Men is working on a wiki, men's groups on college campuses, and we're organizing a new debate on the forums right now. And that's just to name a few things. So we've got shit to do. And you're free to join us when you're done hallucinating about how your MHRA allies are going to end you and all you love. Victor's on out.